Okay. If you wouldn't get in a car with someone who is drunk or high, would you get on a horse who is essentially high? Hi, my name is Harley McSpadden. I'm a senior at Sedgwick High School. I'm 18 years old, and this is my 9th year as a Burlington Edison Roadrunner. This is my 11th year total in 4-H, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the competition use of equine tranquilizers. So today, some of the topics we're going to go over are why people believe tranquilizers are safe to use for their horse during competition, what types of tranquilizing drugs are people using, the effects these drugs have on the equine body, as well as the side effects these drugs have, popular competition rules and organizations, and alternatives to tranquilizing your horse. So we'll start off with why are people using tranquilizers? People believe that it will help calm their horse down during competitions, giving them a quieter, calmer ride. It is also given while hauling to prevent stress and anxiety causing the horse to injure itself. What are the most common types of drugs? So there's one big one we see all over. It's called acepromazine. It's more commonly known just as ACE. It can be given intravenously, so directly into the bloodstream, or as an oral paste directly into the mucous membranes. So what does acepromazine do to the body besides calming the horse down? It lowers the horse's blood pressure, creates a lack of coordination, which can be extremely dangerous, blocks the learning and memory and problem-solving areas in the horse's brain, causes respiratory depression. So low blood pressure. Low blood pressure is a sign that blood is not circulating correctly through the body, which actually increases a horse's risk of developing heart disease over time. A normal blood pressure of a horse is 110 over 90 to 190 over 110. A common side effect is acepromazine-induced hypotension. So hypertension is a very, very high blood pressure. So this is the opposite. Hypotension is an extremely low blood pressure caused by acepromazine. That averages around 90 over 60, which is almost, not quite, but almost cut in half. Lack of coordination, I think this is the most dangerous. It shows up as facial paralysis, struggling to swallow, which can lead to choke, tripping, stumbling, and falling, and showing common signs of neurological diseases that you would see with West Nile and other sorts of neurological. So dangers of lack of coordination. It really only takes one trip for a horse to go down and put both your lives at risk. So horses are known for breaking their legs, breaking their necks when they fall. When a horse falls on a human, they risk broken necks, backs, brain damage, you name it. I don't know if you can see, but there is actually a person under that horse. This is a big one, blocking learning in the brain. When a horse is dosed on acepromazine, there are 3 areas in the brain where memory, problem solving, and learning happen. They're all temporarily paralyzed. So the horse is not able to learn and continue to do what you were doing with them while they were dosed on acepromazine. Many tests have been done all over the world, mostly in Europe, that actually confirm that schooling your horse while on acepromazine does nothing. It will not be picked up by the horse's brain because parts of their brain are temporarily paralyzed. Respiratory depression is also known as hypoventilation. So again, hyperventilation is too fast of breathing. Hypoventilation is slow, ineffective breathing that leads to a lack of oxygen in the lungs and an increased CO2 levels in the body. There are many side effects of acepromazine. The first one is actually the scariest, I think. When it's given intravenously, it can make one cycle through the blood stream, and when this anesthetic gets back to the heart, the horses have been known to drop dead. Acepromazine basically works as a narcotic in the horse's brain. So they can and do get addicted to it, and withdrawals create colic from stress, and that can be known to kill horses too. Another one is a horse can suddenly collapse during exercise, and they will be unconscious with an absent pulse. As little as 2/100 of a milliliter over the recommended dose is known to cause overdose. I don't know if you can see this, but this is how little it takes to overdose a horse. So what are some symptoms of an overdose? Sudden collapse is a very, very noticeable sign. Pale gums from lack of hydration and blood flow. Drowsiness, not acting like themselves. Slow breathing. And a more serious one would be seizures. So now we're going to go over what some of the most popular show organizations in the country say about the use of drugs in their competitions. So the National Reining Horse Association says that they do not condone the use of any drugs, chemicals, or foreign substances to alter a horse's performance. So all of these competition rules are going to say about the same thing, just in different wording, but it's important to know that all of these organizations do not condone the use of drugs on their show horses. So the American Quarter Horse Association, drugs and medications used for therapeutic purposes may be given under very stringent set of conditions. Part of those conditions are you have to file a medical report, and the horse must be withdrawn from the show for minimum of 24 hours. And that's anything given for transporting or grooming or training or anything. If it's in your horse's system, they have to be withdrawn from the show for at least 24 hours. The American Paint Horse Association is a little more specific about it. They say that, they say that any forbidden substance being administered to the horse for any reason, the rider and trainer should withdraw the horse and remove it from the competition until the substance cannot be recognized in plasma or urine. If a horse is suspected to have any of these drugs in their system, their plasma and their urine will be drug tested. So this is a really important one for us to know because we were all showing under 4-H's rules. 4-H says that the 4-H horse program does not tolerate the use of drugs and or improper use of animal health products or foreign substances. The administration of any drugs that affects the animal's conformation, appearance, natural performance, behavior, or in any way alters its natural colors is unacceptable. So acepromazine, while it doesn't affect the natural color, it does alter the natural performance, natural behavior, and sometimes the natural appearance with its facial paralysis. FEI is kind of an umbrella organization for all equine events across the world. They say any product is prohibited if it contains an ingredient that is a prohibited substance or a drug which might affect the performance of the horse and or pony as a stimulant, depressant, tranquilizer, anestalgic, local anesthetic, psychotropic, mood and behavior altering substance, or might interfere with drug testing procedures. So the FEI does also recommend drug testing. So a stimulant is something that gives a horse energy. A depressant would be something that obviously takes our energy away, makes them more lethargic. Tranquilizer, which is what acepromazine falls under. Anestalgic and local anesthetic, those are our painkillers. And psychotropic is anything that alters mood or behavior, which could also, acepromazine could also fall under that. So next we have the Women's Pro Rodeo Association. They say no horse shall be ridden in a competition at the WPRA approved event if a horse has been administered a prohibited substance. The prohibited substances in the WPRA include any drug, stimulant, depressant, tranquilizer, local anesthetic, steroid, or masking drug. So it's very similar to the FEI definition of a prohibited substance. So what are some better options for you? The best alternative to tranquilizer, number one, is training. It can help with so much. It takes time and it's hard work, but it is so much better than having to drug your horse. Some other options for the show day to take the edge off are magnesium and tryptophan. These are natural substances that just take the edge off and the nerves off of your horse. So, in conclusion, today we talked about why people use tranquilizers for the hauling and for what they think gives them a calming effect in a show ring. Types of tranquilizers, the most common, acepromazine, orally or directly into the bloodstream. Effects on the equine body like low blood pressure, high oxygen level due to slow breathing. Side effects, collapse, addiction, withdrawal, all of that. And competition organization rules, they're all very similar. They all talked about how they do not allow the use of any of these drugs in their organizations, and it is the rider and trainer's responsibility to know and to withdraw the horse from the show, as well as alternatives. The biggest one would be training, and then other natural substances used to take the edge off of a nervous horse. So that's all I have. Are there any questions?
If all of these organizations ban the use of drugs like ACE, why do people still use it?
So, although all of these competition organizations ban ACE, it's still very popular because the veterinarians are not the one prescribing these medications. This medication is supposed to be prescribed by a veterinarian only, but it is being sold by non-licensed sellers. And so these people aren't getting the information they need from their vet about possible side effects.
What was acepromazine originally intended for?
So ACE is a mild anesthetic, basically. So it was originally used for simple procedures like sheath cleaning and for some difficult horses, farrier visits, or anything really that doesn't need, it's not as strong as your typical sedation. So for anything simple, it works really well. I'm not at all trying to say it's bad. I just think it needs to be used appropriately and for the right times. Vets say that it needs to be used as a last resort. It cannot replace training. And I think a lot of people need to realize the dangers of it in order to convince them to stop using it. If there's no questions, that's all I got. Thank you.
Where'd you get your information?
All of my information came from vetscienceequine.com. It's a couple veterinarians from Pilchuck Veterinary Hospital that actually wrote an entire article about acepromazine and their side effects and the uses for it.